Hello everyone, welcome to MVP Vishwakosha. Today we are discussing 24th October 2025 current affairs. In that first point, that is about recent Google's Willow quantum chip. Here that Willow is a quantum computing processor that is developed by Google's quantum computing unit, Google Quantum AI. So it uses superconducting qubits, and also it's reported to have around 105 qubits. And also it was unveiled at the end of 2024 in a blog by Google. And also in that important that below is Google Quantum AI and also qubit count 105, and also it's exponential reduction in error is as qubit scale, and also that recent error correction scaling improvement. One of quantum computing main bottlenecks is the error rate. That is more qubit you add, the more errors tend to occur. So that with the Willow, Google claims that the number of qubit increases, the error rate halved each time. Okay, so that performance benchmark and quantum advantage in that, and also in technological and scientific significance, open path toward fault tolerant quantum computing, and strategically and policy economic dimension it is very important. And also for India's perspective, it is India must develop quantum strategy, that is invest in quantum hardware, algorithm development, talent, collaboration, potential for international cooperation, US, European Union, etc. And also quantum is high tech and capital intensive, and quantum readiness, India's digital infrastructure, data protection laws, encryption standards need upgrading in view of future quantum threats. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, so that is about recent news and about below, that is Google's quantum processor 105 qubits. Next news, that's about recent, that is Sevilla Forum on Debt launched under aegis of United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Okay, that is on during the 16th session of United Nations Conference on Trade and Development held in Geneva, and also Sevilla Forum on Debt was officially launched. So the forum is a Spanish-led initiative supported by United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and also it is a part of broader framework, the Sevilla Platform for Action and Sevilla Commitment Outcomes from the fourth International Conference on Financing for Development earlier in 2025. And also the forum is intended as a permanent open inclusive space for dialogue and action on sovereign debt reform, bringing together borrowers, creditors, and academia, civil society. And also main aim include that promoting responsible borrowing and lending practice, and also reforming the global debt architecture, making it more predictable, transparent, and fair, and also tracking and implementing the agreement under the Sevilla commitment, and also shifting from political declaration to institutional mechanisms. And Spain will host and support the forum, and also Spain's economy ministry described it as a bridge between borrowers and creditors. And also the forum was also looks at tools like debt pause, clause, debt swaps for development and sustainable development goals, and structural reforms to prevent the debt crowding or out of development spending. So all that global finance development perspective and policy structural reforms, all that perspective it is very very important. Okay, that is about recent that is Sevilla Forum on Debt. Okay, and United Nations Convention on Trade and Development, that is session 16 held in Geneva. Next news, that's about recent that major defense procurement approval by DAC. Okay, that is by Defense Acquisition Council. So DAC is chaired by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. Approved various capital acquisition proposal for Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force, totaling about rupees 79,000 crore. So for the Army, Nag missile system, ground-based mobile LNT system, high mobility vehicles, and with the material handling crane for that Army. And for a Navy, that landing platform docks, that even novel surface guns, advanced lightweight torpedoes developed by Defense and Research Development Organization, electro-optical infrared search and track system, and smart ammunition for the 76 super rapid gun mount. Okay, that is about for a Navy. And for Air Force, collaborative long-range target saturation destruction systems, and a system with autonomous takeoff, landing, and payload delivery capability among cleared proposals. And many approvals are given under acceptance of necessity stage of a procurement, and also the procurement is part of the broader push for the modernization of the armed force, and indigenization of defense production. Okay, all that for prelims perspective, that is Defense Acquisition Council is important. Apex procurement body in India under Ministry of Defense, and also that meeting. So in that 79,000 crore approval, and also that key procurement Nag missile, MK2, and all that missile systems, indigenization, all that is very important. Strategical and security implication, economic and industrial dimension, policy and governance angle, all that perspective is very important. Okay, so that is about recent. There is Indian Army news. Next news, that is about recent strike along with that is India Myanmar border. Okay, so some security for that is a major attack, drone attack, right, held on 20th October, right? That based at the National Socialist Council of Nagaland Kaplang faction in Myanmar Sejong region. So near the India-Myanmar border. So at least 5 militants, including 3 bodyguards and senior leaders, were killed and others injured, right? So for that, separately outed Revolutionary People Front Naga people militant outfit strongly condemned the strike. So for that, again, a 26-year-old man and 8-year-old girl are four other injured in settlement called Kamyo Loy in the East Konark region, Myanmar. So intelligence alerts have gone up in Northeast India, especially Arunachal Pradesh, Chalang district in wake up on the strike, fearing retaliation. So all that strike for that drone attacks from India side on that area and Myanmar side issue is important. That Myanmar side region, okay, and militant group activities along India-Myanmar border, and also that drone strike, recent drone strike, and precision guided intelligence supported, and also response allegation of civil casualties. All that security and implication for India's internal security and sovereignty of international law and diplomatic angle, technological operation dimension, policy and broader management and insurgency strategy linked to India-Myanmar relation and regional dynamics. That is, India-Myanmar border region is a key to India's Act East policy and also flying to Southeast Asia, right? That's why stability here matters for connectivity project like Kaldan multi-modal transit project, and also engagement with the ASEAN. Also, it's a security operation degraded bilateral trust. It may affect broader regional cooperation. Also, given China's growing influence in Myanmar, India's operation reflect a strategic posture in the region. Very important. Okay, so that is about recent. That is India-Myanmar border issue. Okay, drone attacks and all. Next news, that is about recent, that is Global Air Quality Report, that State of Global Year 2025 by Health Effects Institute and Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. Okay, that is by US report. So the State of Global Air is a research and outreach initiative that provides a global comparable data on air pollution exposure, that is fine particles matter, that is PM 2.5, ozone, and nitrogen dioxide, all associated with the health impact for countries worldwide. And also it is produced in collaboration between that Health Effect Institute and also Institute of for Health Metrics and Evaluation. Okay, global other disease and projects, and also that 2025 iteration covers the data up to about 2023 and offers upgraded global trends and countries profiles. So all that ambient fine particles in that finding that PM 2.5 remains the pollutant with the largest health impact globally, and also from that report 8.1 million death globally 2021, making the second leading risk factor is air pollution. Okay, and also children under 5, also almost 7 lakh death under 5 because of air pollution in 2021. And also, although the average exposure PM 2.0 have slightly declined globally since 2010 in some regions, and the health burden has still increased because of population growth. And also, according to that new 2025 report, state nearly 9 in 10 global air pollution deaths are from non-communicable diseases. All that health and development dimension, environmental, climate, and policy implication for India's regional and relevance. Also, India's feature high exposure and high burden death from air pollution. India needs to focus both ambient, that is outdoor air pollution, and household fuel burning, that is indoor air pollution. Okay, that is important. That is about that report. Okay, important state of global air report pollution report 2025. Next news, that's about JMX 2025, that is Japan and India's maritime exercise. Okay, and also sending that INS Sayadri, that is in news, right? So JMX 2025 is the latest edition of bilateral naval exercise between Indian Navy and Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, and also the Indian ship participating. It's INS Sayadri. Okay, it's a Shivali class guided missile stealth frigate. Also, that occurs in sea phase of exercise and all that harbor phase and all. Participating ships from Japan and all in that key drills that anti-submarine warfare, missile defense drills, flying operation, underway replacement, all that is important strategically that Indo and Pacific implication that region, right? Special strategic and global partnership and also naval capability and defense manufacturing dimension, diplomacy and international relations. It is important and also that INS Sayadri, it is a Shivali class multi-role stealth frigate of Indian Navy. Okay, there is built in Mazagon Dock Ship Limited and also designed stealth features, anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface and anti-air operations. Important that demonstrate India's indigenous shipbuilding and capability and support the Atmanirbhar Bharat vision of defense. Okay, so in that it is INS there is a role in India's participating in JMX 2025 is operating in sea phase and harbor phase, contributing to drills interoperability. Okay, so that is about recent exercise that is JMX 2025 India and Japan maritime exercise. Next news that is about recent that is United Nations Convention in that international convention for suppression of financing and terrorism. Actually, that convention adopted by United Nations General Assembly on 9th December 1999 and opened for signature and 10th January 2000. It is entered into force in 10th April 2002. Its main objective to criminalize the financing of terrorist acts and enhance international cooperation and mutual legal assistance, extradition, all that in preventing, investigation, and prosecuting such financing. So, in that important that International Convention for Suppression of Financing of Terrorism, and it's adopted and aim target to financing terrorist and widely ratified under the UN framework. It's a main role in counter-terrorism and global security in present situation. Terrorist organization rely on financial flows, right? So in that reports, all that is important relevance for India and its security framework, impact on global finance architecture. All that it is important, and also that main thing that is international convention for the suppression of the financing terrorism and its significance. All that is important. Okay, that is about recent convention terrorist financing framework. Next news that is about recent that is about Neeraj Chopra being conferred the honorary rank in the Territorial Army, the Indian Army. So here that Neeraj Chopra, the Indian javelin thrower, the Olympic medalist, was formally conferred the honorary rank in Lieutenant Colonel on in the Territorial Army. The army took place in on 22nd October 2025 at the South Block, New Delhi. The rank was approved by the President of India and insignia was presented by the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh in the presence of Chief of Army Staff and other senior officers. Chopra association with the Indian Army began in August 2016 when he was inducted in Naib Subedar in the regiment of Rajaputtan Rifles, and also honorary rank is a symbolic acknowledging his sports achievement and his representation of national ideals. It does not make him a regular commissioned officer with the activity, duty, and responsibility. Yeah, so but in that national symbolism and soft power, in that Neeraj Chopra is among India's most iconic athlete, right? And also an Olympic gold medalist. Okay, and also linkage between the defense force and society, institutional moral and sports defense diplomacy, all that perspective is very important. Okay, so that's about that prelims perspective. Neeraj Chopra, Indian javelin champion. Okay, all that honorary lieutenant colonel in territorial army is important. Next news there is about United Nation Environment Program. Okay, in that methane emission. Okay, so even if is work via the International Methane Emission Observatory emphasizes that methane, okay, CH4 is a major greenhouse gas and that strong action is required to meet that climate goals. According to UNEP, methane is responsible for about one third, okay, of that is a third of the warming experienced since the industrial revolution. Even if we highlight that methane emission must be reduced by at least 30% below 2020 levels by 2030 to be consistent in the pathway limiting the warming of that is 1.5 degrees Celsius. And also the report an eye on methane and other publications show how satellite based monitoring are making real-time surveillance of large methane release possible, and also recent related analysis indicates that the total energy related methane emission globally around 80% higher than those officially reported to the even from countries. So here you should know about methane, CH4. Is a greenhouse gas much more potent than CO2 in the short term, and its global warming potential. And also its methane is a much shorter atmospheric lifetime compared to CO2, and human anthropogenic sources that account for almost two-thirds of total methane emission. Even in IP all that first public global satellite detection and outer mechanism and methane reduction, that the climate and near-term warming and intersecting with the air quality policy data, all that perspective it is very important. Okay, so that is about recent report about methane and all. Okay, that is even EP. Next news, that is the last news, that is about Agnipath scheme. Here you should know, right, Agniveer scheme, right? So in that serve for 4 years, including training and employment. So according to here one recent report that in that scheme stipulate that 25% Agniveers will be considered for retention in the regular cadre of the armed force after their 4 years tenure, subject to merit organized recruitment, right? The remaining approximately 75% will be demobilized, okay, and lump sum Seva Nidhi package and other post service transition benefit, right? So in that Seva Nidhi package amount indicate roughly 10.04 lakh at the end of 4 years. So here those who retain that 25% join regular cadre. Okay. So here, according to one recent report, that one source says that Army has recommended increasing the retention percentage around to 50% of a batch after the 4 year term. To rationally that retaining only 25% may be too low number to maintain desired combat strength on the ground, right? Because of that, according to recent report, that armed forces have been reviving the retention percentage. Okay, important, and also manpower and force structure, pension cost implication, career and post service implication. Agni is important. Okay, all that security and also that retention figure 25% and maximum, all that is important, and next planning of increasing that retention percentage. Okay, so that is about recent. You should know about Agnipath and Agniveer scheme. Okay, so that is about 24th October 2025 current affairs. Thank you. Support me for further videos so that I can analyze all the topics required for UPSC and all competitive exam. Thank you.